known for his energetic dance style and choreography. Gene Kelly was a celebrated actor, singer, and director. Throughout his career and life, he was unpretentious and innovative, and his Beverly Hills home was no different. Kelly was a pioneering figure in American film, renowned for his groundbreaking work and performances in films like Singing in the Rain, Brigadoon, and An American in Paris, where he pushed boundaries by introducing new techniques to bring realism to the dance numbers. Using these techniques, he redefined the role of dance in film that favored a more natural and relatable style over the classical, elegant forms of ballet that had previously dominated. Gene Kelly's talent wasn't lost on MGM either. When they signed him for the movie Me and My Gal, they moved him and his first wife, actress Betsy Blair, from their one-bedroom cottage into a larger house in Beverly Hills. The home at 506 North Alta Drive was leased to them by Yip Harburg, who most famously wrote the lyrics to the song featured in The Wizard of Oz, Somewhere Over the Rainbow. 2 years later, in 1944, Kelly joined the Navy, and Betsy and their daughter Kerry moved to New Jersey to live with her parents. A few years later, Kelly was discharged, and it was time for the couple to find a new home. One day, while Betsy was with a realtor, she discovered a farmhouse on North Rodeo Drive. In her memoir, she shared the moment she walked into the England-style farmhouse. She wrote, "It was one of the oldest houses in Beverly Hills. I knew it was for us. I'd been on the phone to Gene reporting everything, and when he heard my description and my enthusiasm, he said, 'Go ahead.' I wrote and signed the check for $42,500, and it was ours." Gene Kelly was equally as enthusiastic about the home because it was the first farmhouse in Beverly Hills. He once said in an interview, "It'll never win a Pulitzer Prize in the Architectural Digest, but we like it." This farmhouse with its white living room, light blue master bedroom, and red front door would be Gene Kelly's beloved home until his death in 1996. The couple, both coming from parents with mortgaged homes who financially struggled, knew they didn't want to go through life saddled by debt and trying to make ends meet. So they kept their options limited to only what they could afford with their savings, which turned out to be just 3 homes in Beverly Hills. Right away, you can see from the outside that the 2-story house isn't like your typical Hollywood estate, but rather more like that of a middle-class American family. It's within walking distance of the public schools, which Kelly often walked his daughter to. It wasn't far from the movies, and it was only 3 blocks from a marketing center that Betsy went to often for groceries. Inside, they had a lot of work to do in order for the home to reflect their personal style. "We moved into the house with nothing but books," Betsy said. "Books, a trunk full of Gene's dancing shoes, and a mattress. We spent 6 months deciding how to furnish downstairs. We spent another 6 months trying out ideas." In the living room, their attention to detail paid off. They chose to keep the walls, ceiling, and upholstery a neutral shade, and let the rugs and accessories provide the splashes of lively and vivid colors. Above the fireplace is a painting of a carnival scene filled with vibrant action scenes. This was one of 6 paintings that Gene gave Betsy the first Christmas they moved into the house. The terracotta Indian water jug they picked up on a motor trip one summer was also displayed in the room. Spotted at random throughout the house were framed playbills, family photos, and artwork. The furniture throughout the room follows the same distinct style, with the exception of one chintz-covered chair that doesn't match the motif of being covered in beige cotton shams. When gathering with groups in conversation, the seating around the fireplace is perfect, or you could sit along opposite walls for charade teams. And because Betsy and Gene were known to be grounded and financially savvy, some of the furnishings came out of Sears, Roebuck and Company, and neither cared who knew. In fact, the rugs, which Betsy vacuumed weekly with a Hoover, are a product of Sears. As they remodeled the home, Betsy had a carpenter install waist-high bookcases between the bar and the living room. She bought deep cushioned couches, covered them in navy plaid, and backed them against one of the bookcases. The floor in the bar was Armstrong linoleum tile, and the only uncarpeted floor surface in the house, and it was Gene's favorite spot for testing out new dance routines, thinking with his feet, as Betsy called it. The dining room and den is another example of 2 rooms they merged into one. Both are furnished with early American reproductions. The same blue plaid wallpaper cover both rooms, and unbleached muslin curtains are Dutch hung over the window. Richard Wharf, the talented director, actor and painter, created a primitive landscape that hangs on the dining room wall. He signed it Grandma Wharf 1871 because Gene Kelly had always wanted but never owned a painting by Grandma Moses. Saturday nights in the home were devoted to ping pong, drinks, supper, charades, the piano and song and dance. Those who wanted to kick off the evening and take part in ping pong arrived at 5:30 p.m. After rounds of ping pong, everyone ate and drank. Then came charades, which they dubbed the game. It was a fast-paced racing version of charades that sometimes got heated. Guests described the scene as them running and shouting, and tempers being lost, and occasionally them all collapsing on the floor laughing. Choreographer Bob Fosse once remarked, "I've never seen anyone so fierce as Gene Kelly about a so-called friendly game in my life, before or since. He had a competitive streak in him that was quite frightening." After games, guests would sit around the piano while Saul Chaplin or Lenny Hayton played show tunes. If Judy Garland were there, she would occasionally sing. Lena Horne, Leonard Bernstein, Van Johnson, Frank Sinatra and Rita Hayworth were just a few others that the Kellys entertained. On game nights, the farmhouse red front door was always open and people would come and go as they pleased. Of all the rooms in the house though, Gene's favourite was the big uncluttered bedroom. They'd heard from decorators that blue was too cold a colour for a bedroom, but the Kellys loved that when the sun was unbearably strong and heat bounced off the rest of the house. The soft grey blue bedroom was always cool and restful. For Gene, who loved to sleep late, it was the ideal atmosphere. One bedroom wall was covered with colonial type drawers and cupboards, and more cupboards lined another wall. Along the third side is an early American school bench. The outside was just as lively as the inside of the home. The Kellys hosted a Sunday volleyball game that was considered an established ritual. Cars would line the street starting at noon because it takes a crowd to play the game. It would go on all through the day and then a buffet-style dinner would be served. After everyone had plenty of exercise and food, Gene would set up the projector and home screen so guests could relax and watch a movie. When news of his Sunday volleyball games spread, he decided he needed more athletic equipment and converted the Blackhall closet into a series of sporting goods shelves and called it his sports palace. Gene Kelly always said the farmhouse was a musical house, a fun house. Some of the most talented directors, pianists, composers, choreographers, singers and actors practically lived here at my house. After 16 years of marriage, Gene and Betsy divorced and Gene stayed in the home. Not even a fire could prevent him from abandoning his beloved Beverly Hills farmhouse. In 1983, the house nearly burned to the ground after his Christmas tree caught fire. While the family was unharmed, the fire destroyed Hollywood memorabilia, collections of art and antique furniture, home movies of the kids' birthday parties, among many other things. Kelly, at 72 years old, rebuilt his house from the original blueprints. Anyone who knew Gene Kelly knows he prided himself on representing the working class Joe. Growing up during the Great Depression, he says his dancing style and on-screen persona came out of the idea of the common man. Wearing t-shirts, jeans, khakis, white socks and loafers on screen reflects this ideology. They also, notably, are the clothes he wore while entertaining guests and family at his modest Beverly Hills home. One journalist remarked when driving up to the home that strangers would never guess that movie stars lived here. It's so unpretentious. Now, we hope you enjoyed the tour of Gene Kelly's Beverly Hills farmhouse. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below and don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.